Yes, members, once again, you are still at tbtalks.com. Let us switch on right away and then we deal with crossing over. Remember that we are still dealing with exceptionals, exceptions to Mendelian inheritance. Inheritance which is not in agreement with Mendel's principles. So today, let us deal with crossing over. Crossing over. Crossing over. Let's deal with crossing over. Crossing over. So we said that whenever there is linkage, what happens is that in the F2 generation, we always form a phenotypic ratio of 3:1, just like in monohybrid inheritance, simply because this inheritance here is not in agreement with Mendel's principles. In other words, the 3:1 phenotypic ratio when there is linkage is due to the fact that there is no independent assortment. No independent assortment occurs, and therefore what happens is that we normally arrive to a phenotypic ratio of 3:1 in the F2 generation. But in reality or in practice, even when there is linkage, then we can form 4 phenotypic classes. So even when there is linkage, we can form 4 phenotypic classes. And so what does it mean? It means that practically there is no total linkage. Total linkage is not there. So even when there is linkage, there is always some degree of crossing over. Some genes between homologous chromosomes cross over. And so that one causes presence of individuals with new characteristics, what we call recombinant offsprings. Now, so we can say that there is no total linkage. Practically, there is no total linkage. There is no total linkage. So the linkage we were talking about previously is just assumed, but in actual sense, there is no total linkage. In other words, the 3:1 F2 phenotypic ratio. The 3:1 F2 phenotypic ratio, whenever there is linkage, whenever there is linkage, is not achieved. So what happens is that even when there is linkage, even when there is linkage, 4 phenotypic classes, 4 phenotypic. 4 phenotypic classes. 4 phenotypic classes are formed. 4 phenotypic classes are formed. Are formed in the ratio. Are formed in the ratio. In the ratio of 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. So that is what happens. Even when there is linkage, then we shall have 4 phenotypic classes. So it means that total linkage has never been there. Even when we assume that there is linkage, there is some degree of crossing over between genes on homologous chromosomes. So now in this experiment, an American biologist called Morgan, an American biologist called H. Morgan, an American biologist called, or can I say, an American biologist called Thomas H. Morgan. Thomas H. Morgan crossed a double heterozygous dominant Drosophila crossed a double heterozygous dominant Drosophila bearing gray body and long wings with a homozygous recessive, black-bodied vestigial winged Drosophila. Vestigial winged Drosophila. So, of course, that is what happened. Morgan crossed a double heterozygous dominant Drosophila bearing a gray body and long wings with a homozygous recessive black-bodied vestigial winged Drosophila. If you can recall, this is a testy cross. So this cross which Thomas Morgan carried out is a testy cross, crossing a heterozygous organism with a homozygous recessive individual, what we call a testy cross. Now, what happens is that when Morgan carried out this experiment, he expected that he would get, in the first case, a ratio of 9 to 3 to 3 to 1 in the F2 generation, which he never realized. So that is when, if the genes were not linked, or if the genes were located on different chromosomes. Then a ratio of 9 to 3 to 3 to 1 would be obtained. In the second case, Morgan thought that if the genes were linked, were completely linked, in other words, if there was total linkage, then we expect that we would form two phenotypic classes in the ratio of 1 to 1, which was not true. So now, we can say that in this cross, Morgan predicted two situations. Morgan predicted two situations. One, that if the genes or if the alleles fall for gray body, long-winged, and the alleles fall black body, vestigial wings were not linked. Then in the F2 generation, or can say, then the respected phenotypes, or can say, then the phenotypes would be gray body would be gray body, long wings, that is one. Then black body, vestigial wings, black body, vestigial wings. The third phenotypic class would be now the recombinants. Gray body, vestigial wings, and black body, long wings. These offspring here, which have vestigial wings, gray body, vestigial wings, and then black body, long wings, would be called recombinants. These two would be called recombinants. recombinants. Would be called recombinants. Would be called recombinants. But this was not realized. This was not realized. Now, case number 2. Case 2. That if the alleles were linked, in other words, alleles of different characters being carried on the same chromosome is what it means by being linked. If those alleles were carried on same chromosome, if the alleles were linked, that is being carried on same chromosome, then two phenotypic classes would be formed. That is, in the ratio of one gray body